is the WrestleMania Challenge. The fact that they don't have the Lex Express running you over is a missed opportunity. It is really weird that they didn't have Diesel in this game, and I think Diesel was the champ when this game was out. I don't know what the hell the deal with that was. Tombstone. Razor Ramon with that rate. It's like Sawada from Street Fighter the movie. And Bret Hart with the Johnny Cage uppercut there. That's it. See what happens here. Shawn strutted around the ring arrogantly for several minutes, flexing and chewing gum with an obnoxious smirk on his face. He had always bragged that he was the greatest thing to grace the World Wrestling Federation, and now he's proven it. The ladies in the audience reached out their arms to him and screamed his name. With that, by teasing them with a little hip action, the ladies, in an uncontrollable lust-crazed frenzy, stampeded the ring like cattle, trying to get hold of him. Shawn scrambled to escape the clutches of the horde, but to no avail. They quickly cornered him and proceeded to ravage him mercilessly. When they were through with him, Shawn was left lying motionless, clothing in some hair, yet with a big old grin stamped on his face. He loved the attention, and more so, he loved the women, craving his attention, and multiple women led him to leave wrestling and become a politician where he could get away with this. I don't know why that was left out of the console version. Ooh, credits. No, this is completely off topic, but how many times were at Area 51 did you ever see Hot Wheels cars? I have no idea. I don't think I did. It's going to be the 30th anniversary of the start of Monday Night Wars this year. I want Tony to put Dynamite up against Raw to see what would happen. Um, would be interesting. I would hold off for a little bit though, because when Raw debuts on Netflix, that's just going to get a bunch of views just out of curiosity, and WWF is going to be bringing their A game in a big way. So, you know, I mean, what Tony would need to do would, in order to, you know, make a big splash, is he'd have to have like John Cena versus Kenny Omega, and you know, they'd have to have some big back and forths. Like, it couldn't just be like Cena beating Omega, because that would piss off the AEW fans. It would piss me off because I like Omega better than Cena. But yeah, you don't want to have Cena debut and then just get buried. The thing is, that's crazy, is that Cena is on TBS for that show Wipeout, but you know, he's still signed to WWF. But yeah, I mean, it would be interesting now because AEW is on Hulu and not Hulu. I'm sorry, AEW is on Max and TBS. It's simulcast, which is good. And you know, and WWE is going to be on Netflix. So, and to WWE's credit, they've had a really good ad campaign for Netflix. So. But you know what else is crazy, and this is going to piss off Eric Bischoff, is that, you know, if it hasn't happened already, like AEW is going to surpass Nitro on TNT. So, you know, like Tony Khan will at least have surpassed having his brand be the longest lasting wrestling product on TNT. I mean, while it's never been as successful as WCW, you know, it's definitely had more longevity, in you know, in the sense of its time on primetime cable, because you know, when Eric Bischoff took over, and you know, you got Hulk Hogan and all that stuff, you know, WWF was it was like Vince's company. It was not doing that well. I mean, they were playing like high school gyms and stuff, you know. I mean, they had their legacy, they had their fan base, but it's not like it was doing very well. So Vince, you know, was in a very weakened state when Bischoff had, you know, the opportunity to get a lot of older wrestlers that Vince thought, you know, were all done. And you know, they certainly, the thing with Bischoff that was so good with him is that, you know, guys like me who liked Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, you know, Vince was like, oh, this is the new generation, you know, and it's like, well, that's nice, but I like the old generation better. So, you know, Bischoff showed the old generation, and, you know, and then you had, you know, you kind of took your pick, and I mean, both were good. I liked them both a lot, but, yeah, I mean, he had Vince on the ropes, and he basically just, you know, Hulk Hogan, he made Nitro great, but Bischoff refused to say no to him, and, you know, and the storyline stagnated, and that let, you know, and then Vince Russo became Vince McMahon's muse, and, you know, WWF started having really good writing and really outrageous things happening, and once people realized that the story structure and the plot was never going to change on Nitro, people started turning the channel, and you know, Bischoff had all these like, you know, mid-card guys that he refused to let, you know, develop. And I'm not even saying that they would have developed into anything great necessarily, but you know, he had just a lot of disgruntled talent. He got arrogant, and he just you know, was also in a world full of, you know, ruthless, self-centered, deviant con artists. And so everyone was out for themselves, and plus they were feeling disrespected by him, and he just lost control of his locker room, and it just became, by various accounts, a toxic, miserable place to work. So there were mass exoduses of his own talent, and because of that, WWF gained a huge competitive advantage, became a billion-dollar company, and got to a point where it became the monopoly, which is the reason I'm saying all this is because now that AEW is there, this is not like everyone's like, oh, well, you're never going to do what WCW did. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, because Eric Bischoff had the perfect opportunity. He had the perfect storm. He had lightning in a bottle, and that's why he was able for a couple of years to be able to overtake WWF. But once he lost it for good. And now you're in a really tricky situation because WWF not only has the brand recognition, it has, decades and billions of dollars at its disposal. Tony Khan has billions of dollars at his disposal, but his wrestling company is only 5 years old, as opposed to, 30. Tony Khan should ride a motorcycle and wear a crown and see what happens. He should. He really should. These guys that are on camera here, they're interesting looking. All right, what should we play next here?